Hey guys, welcome back to our Bible study. We've been going through a series on the gnarly stories of Scripture. Last week we talked about Jacob and Esau, and this week we're going to be talking about Jacob's son, Joseph, and his brothers. So, have you guys ever been jealous of something or someone? Like, you just got the new iPhone, and before you know it, the next model has already come out and you feel like old news? Or you're trying to maintain a trick, say it's like a kickflip downstairs, and someone comes along and they kickflip the stairs, tray flip the stairs, shove it the stairs, and they've got all this first try, and you're just like, ugh, why can't I be like that? That sense of jealousy, upsetness, kind of sets the tone for this story. So there are several characters in this story besides God. Joseph, who is Jacob's son, Jacob, who is also called Israel, Rachel, Jacob's wife, and Joseph's brothers, of which there are 11. So our story takes place in Genesis chapter 37. Joseph, who was loved high above his other brothers, is tending to his family's fields, and as a couple of dreams depict him ruling over his family. You can read that for yourself in verses 5 through 11. But basically, because of this, Joseph's brothers were extremely jealous of him and hated him greatly, so they plotted to kill him. This is what it says in verse 12. Now his brothers had gone to graze their father's flocks near Shechem, and Israel said to Joseph, "As you know, your brothers are grazing in the flocks near Shechem. Come, and I am going to send you to them." "Very well," he replied. So he said to him, "Go and see if all is well with your brothers and with the flocks, and bring word back to me." Then he sent him off to the valley of Hebron. When Joseph arrived at Shechem, a man found him wandering around in the fields and asked him, "Who are you looking for?" He replied, "I'm looking for my brothers. Can you tell me where they are grazing with their flocks?" "They have moved on from here," the man answered. "I heard them say, 'Let's go to Dothan.'" So Joseph went after his brothers and found them near Dothan. But when they saw him in the distance before he reached him, they plotted to kill him. So here's the setting for this story. Joseph's had these dreams. His brothers are jealous. They're feeling the desire to kill him because of his desire to rule over them. And this is the plan they make. This is what ends up happening here. Verse 19. "Here comes that dreamer," they said to each other. "Come now, let us kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns and say that a ferocious animal devoured him. Then we will see what comes of his dreams." When Reuben heard this, the oldest, he tried to rescue him from their hands. "Let's not take his life," he said. "Do not shed any blood. Throw him into a cistern here in the wilderness, but do not lay a hand on him." Reuben said this because he was going to rescue him and take him back to his father. So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, an ornate robe that he was wearing, and they took him and threw him into the cistern. The cistern was empty. There was no water in it. As they sat down to eat their meal, they looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. Their camels were loaded with spices, balm, and myrrh, and they were on their way to take them down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, What will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay a hand on him. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood." His other brothers agreed. So when the Midian merchant came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up out of the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. When Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes and went back to his brothers and said, "The boy isn't there. Where can I turn now?" So Joseph's been sold into slavery. He's been given over by his brothers to these people, and now they have to come up with a reason as to how they're going to explain this to their dad. So this is what they do. I mean, just check how ornate this plan is, how detailed they covered it. Verse 31, "They got Joseph's robe, slaughtered a goat, and dipped the robe in blood. They took the ornate robe back to their father and said, "We found this. Examine it whether you can see if it's your son's robe." He recognized it and said, "It is my son's robe. Some ferocious animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn into pieces." So, it starts out by Joseph having these dreams about ruling over his brothers, and then it goes into this whole plot of let's kill him. Then they decide, no, let's not kill him, let's just sell him. Then they sell him, but they still convince his father that he died. It's crazy that these guys came with this much desire to see their brother fall by the wayside. So if you read this for yourself, you can see the evil in the brothers' hearts as they're going about this. So this story always makes me stop to consider what the situation might have been like. Joseph is sold into slavery, and then his father is told he's dead. But God sees everything. And if we keep reading, he uses this whole situation to bring him glory. Joseph rises to second command in all of Egypt, and then ends up saving the lives of the very brothers who wished him dead. He even offers them grace and a place to stay if you keep reading in Genesis chapter 45. So I want to challenge you guys that when a situation seems unfair, trust that God knows the details and choose mercy and grace over jealousy. That way, you can find joy in even the little things. And that too is how God treats us. Instead of anger and wrath, we receive grace and mercy if we follow Christ through our lives. Have a great week, guys.